Welcome to Dirty Teeth. I'm Alan, and today I'm going to take you through absolutely everything I'm taking to Fat Pursuit and how I get it all to fit into every nook and cranny on my bike. If you're not familiar with Fat Pursuit, it's an expedition style, deep winter, 200K ultra on snow, and it takes place at the border of Idaho and Montana. It meanders through the greater Yellowstone ecosystem on snowmobile trails for a brutally beautiful and slow-going 125 miles with some stout climbing at high elevation. It's so gorgeous and so magical, and I'm super excited to get out there, and I realized I've never done a gear and kit preview for Fat Pursuit, so here we are. It might seem like a heck of a bunch of stuff at first, but the race is designed in a way that everybody either has to ride straight through the night with no sleep or strategically bivvy somewhere and finish on the second day. There's a list of mandatory gear that all participants must take, so even the super fast and ultralight folks can't travel too light or without specific stuff to save their bacon if stuff goes wrong. I said stuff a lot. And trust me, things can get sideways really quickly on this one. Just take a look at last year's video if you don't believe me. I'll put a link in the description. That said, this year I'm going about as minimal as I feel comfortable with while adhering to the required gear list and my own peace of mind. Here we go. First up is my bike. I've got a Y Big Iron V2. Its name is Sylvester. The fork is an MV carbon fat fork, 15x150. The headset is a Cane Creek 40. My stem is an Industry 9 40mm in turquoise color. The handlebars are Money Light bars, 820mm long, 12 degree sweep, and 2.5-inch rise. My grips are Ergon GS1 with Cane Creek Ergo bar ends that have been drilled out. The bottom bracket is a SRAM dub. My cranks are SRAM XX1 Eagle in 170mm length. The train ring is an Alu Gear direct mount 26 tooth oval with a 0mm offset in the color blue. My pedals are Crank Brother Egg Beater 11s. I also am bringing Crank Brother Double Shot 1s, which are flip-flop pedals. They're clipless on one side, flat on the other, just in case the weather looks like it's going to be really snowy or nasty and I might be hiking a lot. Maybe I'll throw those on instead. The cassette is a SRAM XX1 Eagle 1052. The chain is a SRAM XO Eagle. The shifter is a SRAM GX Eagle. The derailleur is a GX Eagle Lunar. My derailleur hanger is a SRAM UDH. The brakes are SRAM G2 RSCs. On top of the levers, I have silicone covers along with camelback tube insulation because my fingers tend to get really cold on extended descents pulling on the brake levers. Brake rotors are SRAM Centerline 160 front and 160 rear, both center lock. My saddle is a Brook C13 carved with 145mm width that fits me great. The seat post is a Niner RDO Carbon 410 by 34.9. Seat post collar Revel 34.9. My rims are Head Big Aluminum Half Deal. Those are the 27.5s with Head Brick House Carbon hubs front and rear. My tires are Bontrager Barbagazzis. They're 27.5 by 4.5 inch. These are about as close as I could find to something like a 45 North Husker Du, but in the 27.5 size. For sealant, I go with Orange Seal, and it's a mix of Sub-Zero and regular. I'll pause right there. This combo of wheels and tires and sealant has done great for me. Sometimes people use fatty strippers, which I've done in the past, but with this, I've never had an issue, so I just go straight tubeless, no tape, no fatty strippers, none of that. For valve stems, I'm just using plain old stands, 44mm. For the valve stem nuts, I do use Problem Solver's Super Peanuts because it's easier to get a grip on them. And I have ODI Presta valve stem covers as well because on fat bike races like these, sometimes the valve stems tend to get frozen shut. Next up is luggage. My frame bag is a Rogue Panda custom bolt-on bag. The rear rack is a Carver titanium fat rack. On it, I have rock straps to secure everything down, and the big dry bag is an Osprey pack liner sized small, which is 30 to 50 liters. Up at the cockpit, my handlebar bag is a cheapy Amazon Rhino Walk burrito bag, and the top tube bag / gas tank is a J-Pax footlong EXT. On the down tube, I have a Silka Securo titanium bottle cage with a Zeffel Z-Box inside of it, and that's all secured with a ski strap. Now for the gear itself, I'll start with my sleep and camp system. My sleeping bag is a Western Mountaineering Puma. It's rated a negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is a true rating. I know some sleeping bags give you fake news, but Western Mountaineering is legit. For a bivvy, I have a Montbell Ultralight sleeping bag cover. For a sleeping pad, I'm using a Thermarest Z-Lite, that's the accordion kind. It's 20 inches wide and I have it cut down to 48 inches in length. This is the shortest that is legal for JP's mandatory gear list. I'm also bringing with me to Island Park a bin with what I call my game time gear, just in case the last minute weather report gets nasty. In this, I'll have an Outdoor Research Helium bivvy, which is a little beefier, and I'll also have a bigger Osprey pack liner, one size up, the medium, just in case I need to shove more stuff in that dry bag, like an Expedition puffy jacket and some more stuff I'll talk about in a sec. Onto my head, face, nose, and eye system. My main riding hat is a Two Sabres tactical ear flap camo hat, which I got on Amazon. I have an Icebreaker merino neck gaiter. For nose and cheek protection, I have a half buff that I can stretch across my nose and cheeks. Sunglasses, I've got Daz Optics. I have spare lenses in yellow. I also carry my eyeglasses in a soft pouch and a lightweight balaclava. And in my game time gear pack, I also have an extreme cold riding hat. This is a Fall Raven Nordic heater hat. I also have goggles with 2 different magnetic lenses, a 45 North balaclava, and a Cold Avenger face mask. Again, these will only come with me if at the last second the weather looks like it's really gonna get nasty. For my hand, arm, and glove system, I have Dogwood Designs Pogies. I have Montbell Chemise liner gloves. I have 45 North Stormfist 5 gloves. I also have Z-Packs Virtus Ultralight shell mitts in case of emergency, as well as 2 packs of chemical hand warmers. And for my game time decisions, I have Hestra Primaloft Extreme Cold Weather mitts, as well as Hestra Gore-Tex shell mitts. I also have homemade alpaca elbow warmers, and I'm also bringing Dogwood Designs Winter Pogies Plus, just in case it gets super cold. They're a little more insulated than my regular Dogwood Pogies. Now to my foot, boot, and gaiter system. My cycling boots are 45 North Wolf Hammers, and then I have Superfeet merino insoles inside of those. My liner socks are Icebreaker Merinos. My insulating socks are Warrior Alpaca Long John Heavyweight socks. And then I've got vapor barriers, 2 sets of those. One goes between my liner and my main sock, and the other goes between my boot shell and my boot liner. For the vapor barriers themselves, I use Reynolds oven bags. Just in case, I'm also bringing with me 45 North Wolfgar boots, as well as OR Crocodile gaiters and Dogwood Designs overboots. I'm very paranoid about my feet, so if I know it's going to be going less than 0 degrees Fahrenheit, I will probably switch out my boots and or carry my Dogwood overboots, TBD. Moving on to my Corin jacket system, I'll be wearing a short sleeve Brynja Super Thermo mesh base layer. This one has a little bit of padding on the shoulders, which is great for wearing a hydration vest. My main riding soft shell jacket is a Montbell Trail Action parka. I also have a windbreaker, that is a Montbell X-Lite wind jacket. For a synthetic riding puffy jacket, I'll be carrying a Rab Xenon 2.0, and then I have a rain shell, which is an OR helium. In my game time decision kit, I'll be carrying a Montbell UL Thermarap puffy vest, as well as a Rab Neutrino puffy expedition jacket. For my pants system, I'll be wearing Bontrager Old Man winter pants, a Perlazumi chamois liner, and I have long johns cut to knickers. And just in case, I'll also be carrying Marmot Precip rain pants cut to knicker length. And in case it's really cold, I've also got packed some Rab Zenith Gore-Tex rain pants as well. I doubt I'll bring them unless it's really gonna go down to -20 or below. For my repairs and spares kit, I've got a Crank Brothers 17 multi-tool. I've got 6 zip ties, a Leatherman Squirt PS4 multi-tool. I have a valve core tool, spare tubeless valve and core. I have a Presta valve adapter, a glueless patch kit, which works on lightweight TPU tubes. I also have chain master links to pair, chain links for my 12-speed chain, a Crank Brothers cleat with bolts and shield, a little pedal repair for my Crank Brothers. I have a bearing, a nut, and end cap just in case, a tire plug tool, a tire plug side of bacon kit, I have 2 safety pins, 2 bottle cage bolts, a spare derailleur hanger, some spare rack nuts, and some spare rack bolts. I have 1 spare tube. It's a Revo Loop TPU lightweight fat tube. I also should mention that just in case I get to Island Park and my tubeless setup isn't holding air for some reason, or I'm a little nervous about it, I am bringing a real tube as well, so I reserve the right to throw that into my kit at the last minute. I have 1 tire boot, baling wire, a spare shift cable, thread and curved needle, tenacious gear aid patch tape. My mini pump is a Lazine micro floor pump HV with a quick release chuck. On it I have 1-inch Gorilla tape, 2-inch duct tape, electrical tape, and some Tyvek tape. Whew, that was a lot to get through. As far as lighting, electronics, and navigation goes, I'll be wearing a Wahoo heart rate strap. For my headlamp, I'll be using a Princeton Apex Pro 350. For my handlebar light, I'm using a Phoenix BC30 version 2.0. Both my lights work off CR123A lithium batteries, so carrying spares for them is easy. Speaking of which, I've got 6 spare batteries. I have a Nightcore NB10000 Generation 2 power bank. I'm using a Garmin Edge 540 for navigation. I also have a GPS tracker. It's a Spot Generation 3. My tail light is a PDW Daybot. For backup navigation, I'll be using my iPhone 12 mini with Gaia loaded onto it and the route. I also use my iPhone 12 to film, in case you're curious. Along with my Nightcore cache battery, I have an iPhone charging cable and a Garmin charging cable, and I'll also be carrying wired iPhone earbuds. Health and hygiene, I'm carrying Dermatone lip balm with sunblock, some toilet paper, some Advil, and some anti-nausea medication, Zofran, just in case. I'll also have dental floss, toothpaste, and a cut down toothbrush. For hydration, I'll be carrying a Revelate Wampack with a 100-ounce Camelback bladder. I'll also carry a half-liter Osprey soft flask. At the beginning of the race, I'll fill this with 8 ounces of water because that's what's necessary to boil at JP's mandatory water boil checkpoint. This way I can just pour the water into my cup really quickly instead of fiddling around with my hose trying to squirt water out of my bladder. And just in case, I'm also carrying AquaTab water treatment tablets. For stove, boiling, and fire starting, I'll be carrying an MSR Pocket Rocket 2. For fuel, I have MSR ISO Pro fuel canister. My pot is a Toaks 550mm titanium. This is 18 ounces. Again, I'll fill it halfway up for the water boil test and use as necessary during the race. Hopefully I don't need to use it at all other than the water boil test. Underneath it, I also have a foil base that I'll use. I'll carry 2 lighters. My main lighter is a Bic Easy Reach with the little extra tip at the end that makes it really easy to light stoves. And for a backup, I'll have a regular Bic spare that uses flint. And I've also removed the little child safety clip. And just in case, I'll also have 5 stormproof UCO matches and some Soul Tinder Quick in case I really need to light a fire in a jam and both my lighters aren't working. I'm also bringing with me to Island Park a Whisperlight white gas stove with some extra fuel and a pump, just in case it's going to be really, really cold and I don't have faith in my isobutane canister stove. And then there's just some miscellaneous stuff. I'll have a Revelate wallet. Inside of it will be my credit card, a driver's license, an insurance card, and $20 cash. And new for this year is a Montana Trails Pass. Everybody has to be riding with one per the BLM. So I had to buy that. I just don't know exactly where I'm gonna put it yet, so that's TBD. If you're curious about food, I'll have a certain amount of calories with me at the start, and then I've got 2 drop bags that'll be available at 2 different checkpoints. I don't want to completely bore you, so I'll let you look at this spreadsheet I have up right now. You can pause the video if you want, but I'm planning on 300 calories an hour and the race taking me roughly 27 hours of riding. Hopefully it won't be that much, but it could be more. Anyway, that is a lot to swallow, but that's all my food. Again, if you want to see that all broken down calorically, I'll give you a screen grab of the spreadsheet I'm looking at right now. And if it bores you, just keep moving on. So in terms of how everything is packed, obviously my sleep kit is in the dry bag on the back of the bike, and right below that is my sleeping pad. Then in my frame bag, I've got my synthetic puffy jacket, along with my rain pants, rain jacket, and a lightweight wind jacket. That's all that's in the frame bag. Down below in the Zeffel Z box, that's where I keep my spares and repair kit. Usually I try to put my pump inside of my frame bag, but I have limited space here, so it's mounted just outside of the frame bag. And again, on top of that, I have electrical tape, 1-inch Gorilla Tape, 2-inch duct tape, and some Tyvek tape. Mounted on the top tube, I've got my spot tracker. And then in the top tube bag / gas tank, that's pretty much my food. I also have my cache battery, as well as spare batteries and cables, and my Crank Brothers 17 multi-tool. Up front in the burrito bag, I've got my stove, as well as my camp pot and fuel. And then I have a lightweight balaclava, as well as some miscellaneous repair and spare stuff. There's a tire boot, a thread and needle, some baling wire, a spare shift cable, a gear aid patch. That's also where I keep my Aqua tabs, my Zofran, and my Advil. And then in front of the burrito bag on the little bungees, I've got my Warmer 45 North Stormfist gloves. If any of you are curious about weight, my complete setup, including the bike and all the gear loaded on it, without food, currently weighs in at 42.6 pounds or 19.32 kilograms. Other than that, I can't think of much else for now, but if you have any questions or curiosities about anything at all, please ask me down in the comments below, and I promise I'll respond to each and every one of you. All the hay is in the barn, and I guess all that's left to do now is just do the dang thing. If you want to follow the race, I'll put the tracking link down below. As always, thanks for hanging out. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward. Thanks so much for squeezing dirty teeth into your busy schedule. Please help us reach more people and ensure you receive new videos by giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. Until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward.